When I sat down to film this video today, I thought it would be an update on savings, or maybe my long overdue quarterly update. How have I found budgeting since I first started this YouTube channel? And instead, I'm having to film a very different video because I lost my job. After 2 months of employment, the company I worked for was purchased by a very large American conglomerate. And 3 days after we were told, 3 working days after we were told, anyone who was on probation was let go. And that was me and 2 other colleagues. And when you're on probation, they don't need to give you a reason, they don't need to give you notice. So, welcome to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel, I'm still attempting to cash budget my way out of debt. I'm still attempting to fix several years of financial misbehaviour. And once again, I'm having to completely change my budgeting structure. I am once again returning to an inconsistent, choppy and changey income. And that is both terrifying and a weird relief. And I'm going to go through why. I've got a Velvetizer hazelnut latte because sometimes you just need a little bit of luxury, and while I have those luxuries in my life at the minute, I'm going to make use of them. So I'm going to take a sip of this. And I can try and be upbeat, but I'm feeling low. And this video isn't a call for sympathetic, well-meaning comments or attention. It's what on earth am I going to do now? And how am I going to do what on earth am I going to do now, if that makes any sense to anyone out there. It's been 4 days since I found out, and we were instantly dismissed. Get your things, please leave, letters will follow. And I drove to my mum and dad's and I was sobbing the whole way. And voice noted close friends and just said, how's your day going? Because this is how mine is. And cried because I loved what I was doing in that job. There were red flags. There were so many red flags that had started to pop up, but there was this overarching, I'm going to pay off my debt this year. And that's the drive. And I'm finally in a job where I can grow into a career and learn so many things and get different skills that I don't have under my bonnet. And I know all of those things are still out there for me, but for it to end the way it did, I wouldn't have applied for this job if I knew that a takeover was in the works. I wouldn't have gone for this job. I wouldn't have put myself through that process. I wouldn't have made the financial plans that I did when I was doing Budgetmas and committing to saving certain amounts and spending certain amounts and what am I going to pay to debt? All of those things I wouldn't have done if I'd known this was in the pipeline. And it was in the pipeline before I'd even started working for the company, and that hurts. Because I asked questions at my interview. I asked really good questions. And one of them was, are there any significant changes that may be in the future? No. But here we are. I had the day of crying. I had the day of emergency coffee with coffee friend. and putting the world to rights and ranting and being angry. I had the start of the admin day yesterday, and today I almost feel like I don't know what to do. But what I have done is the first major thing, and that is to slash and strip my budget. Now, the majority, bar 2, of my bills for February have already been paid. So this is very much March going forward. Because we were instantly dismissed, I don't believe I'll be getting a full wage. And because I've taken annual leave, any money that I would have earned for working the first week and a bit of February would basically be clawed back by the annual leave that I've taken. So I'm not expecting any more wages from wage 1. And my pay assessment period for wage 2 has been and gone. So the opportunity to work overtime for February's earnings has also disappeared. March I can do something about, February not so much. But that's fine, because February financially was sorted. So now it's, what am I working with going forward? Now, this is the first thing you should do if you find yourself in this situation. And I've been in this situation before, which is why, although I feel sad, I don't feel panicked. And that's really, really important. The first thing you should do is not panic. I'm going to be doing probably an extra video a week now, specifically focused on what I'm doing as I go through this period of unemployment, inconsistent income. What steps am I taking? What resources am I looking at? And what am I going to do about looking for work? Because I feel right now like I don't want to step back into an office environment. I don't want to go near business. I don't want to go near the role that I used to do. I feel very anti that at the minute. And I know why. And it took someone very experienced and very wise, and someone who I view as a mentor, actually say to me on Thursday, I need to tell you that not all businesses act the way that yours has done. The way yours has acted is not how a business should behave. So, take a day to cry and be angry and have emergency coffee or crawl under the covers, which is what I did. So take that day and recover and absorb what's happened. And then on day 2, make a list. And at the top of that list, create an emergency budget. And this is mine. My emergency budget is designed to cover my 4 walls and everything that comes with. My food, myself, my cat, transportation, so I can get to and from work. Well, not work, interviews. Well, I still have wage 2, so kind of work. Clothing, not that I need any, but, you know, make sure you're decently clothed and fed if you've got kids. So this is where we are. I've gone from what should have been $2,250 a month to $250 a month as it stands now. My fixed bills, my 4 walls, my rent is $850. My council tax I have put at $80. On my list, after emergency budget, it was call council tax, to let them know that I can't afford, as things stand, to pay the £182 that they're expecting from me on the 1st of March. And I don't really want a letter saying you're behind on your council tax, we'll take you to court and set up a special arrangement when the money's not there. So I've been advised to pay what I can afford. So I'm tentatively putting down £80. If I can pay the full amount, I'll pay the full amount. But as it stands, I'd like to pay £80. My water is 22 and my gas and electric is still 107. These guys are next on the call list. What will you take? What can I defer? What can be paused? What can be spread? If you can't do any of that, this is what we're paying. My car insurance, £70.97 is my normal monthly bill. Next on the list to call, can I defer for 1 month and spread the cost along the remaining ones? Can I buy myself time to get things sorted? Contents insurance is £7. Because on top of also losing my job this week, the 3 houses that form our little block, all of us had an attempted break-in on Thursday night. We're fine. We're all safe. Nothing was taken. Nothing was done. But at 8:30 on a Thursday night, all 3 of us had our houses attempted to be broken into. We were all at home. We all had lights on. And it was scary and worrying. But we all get on really well and we're all really good neighbours. And all of our parents have gone into absolute overdrive regarding the security, and things will be changing there. And one of the things I did was realise that, this is actually now a problem. If I lose my stuff due to theft, I can't afford to replace it. So I have content insurance, and that is now a must, and that is staying in my budget. I want to reiterate that we are all fine. We are all safe. We are all okay. Nothing was taken. The neighbour number 3, so I'm 1, there's 2 and there's 3. Neighbour number 3 had some damage to their garage door and to the back of their gate. They were not able to get anything else. We're all fine, we're all safe. But that just makes everything. It's been a week. Pet insurance, £7.85. He needs to be covered. Bowie is important to me. I love him to bits, and he needs to be covered for just about anything because I do not have the money in a pot to pay for vet's bills. My debt minimums, the ones that have contacted me saying we're going to take legal action, we're going to send bailiffs round, the £30 is the minimum payments across those 3. My guarantor has agreed a temporary pause for March. They're completely understanding about the circumstances. They are fine with that. If there's anything that I can give them, I will give them something. But for now, they are removed from this emergency budget. My mobile is 28 and BT is 38, and they are also on my call list to get that £7 removed. And even the train is still making itself known. Brilliant. Ink and Microsoft. It's more important now than ever that actually I keep these 2 up, because I'm going to need to be creating documents, fixing up CVs, printing out postage labels so that I can actually, the stuff I sell from Vinted, I can actually get on its way and going and get that income in. And that's £10.48 a month. And then lastly, the 2 key subscriptions, which if I can afford to, I will keep on. And that is the Spotify and the YouTube Premium, the 2 key things that give me the most amount of satisfaction. Everything else is gone. Which means that I can slash my essential bills to £1,273.29, and they could potentially slash down smaller as well. And now we go to what others would class as, it comes under my sheets as flexible, and this is just a spare budget sheet. Food, 120, so £30 a week roughly, but what I would probably do is do a month's food shop and leave a nominal amount set aside for a week for some fruit or something like that. Petrol has dropped from 300 to 80, and that is just to keep the car topped up. I won't let it go below half. I don't know where I'll be driving to. I don't know where I'll need to go for interviews, for job searches, anything like that. So that will allow me to just put £20 a week in. I'll top it up once it gets to half full, and then that should give me close to a full tank. The cat at the minute I'm maintaining at £10 a week. He won't be getting any extra treats, but he will not eat anything other than what he eats, and he he does not have the cheapest food, and sadly he won't go for anything else. And what is probably going to be slightly controversial to some of you, and that's okay. You are entitled to your opinions. It's more important now than ever that actually I keep a handle on my mental health, and goodness me, it's been interesting these past 3 or 4 days. Coffee is down to £20 for the month. That's one coffee, no cake, no nice fancy extras, just one coffee a week with Coffee Friend to make sure that my head is still okay, that I've still got that time, that I'm not completely isolating myself at home with the cat. Don't necessarily know if that's a bad thing. And Spendy, £10 a week for me to get some hair dye or a novelty pair of socks or a nail varnish, just something little. So I'm a spender. I'm never not going to be a spender. And if I were to give myself nothing, I would be doing far more damage overall to my budget, because I would take from other places where it shouldn't be taken from. House is £10 for the month. That's going to cover things like a loo roll, not a solitary loo roll. Inflation's not that bad yet. But that's going to cover things like loo roll, toiletries, etc. Just £10 for the month, which means that my total, I would say other spending, cash spending, is £310, bringing my total monthly budget to £1,583.29. Now, yes, I can remove subscriptions. I will do so if needed. And I could play with some of these, but I'd like to see if I can keep these as they are for now. But that being said and done, I can't get any lower than £1,500 at the minute on a solo income, whilst water and gas and electric are still wanting the full amount. In terms of savings and savings challenges, I will continue doing my little mini change savings challenges. And that will be out of any leftover change. I am enjoying doing them. It's a good way for me to, I would say, passively save. In terms of the income that I have coming in and where it's coming from, I have wage 2, which is now wage 1, which is about £2.52. I will automatically become eligible for universal credit again, and based on previous calculations that will go to £600. I have freelancing, which is varied. I have vintage business or old business, again, which is varied. And then lastly, I have additional council support that could be accessed. But again, I don't know at this point what that is. But what I do know is that £1,583 is what I need to find. So as things stand, I'm definitely halfway there. I have 5 weeks until my next rent payment is due, which is the big one. I have the money for this month. What I will do is go through the rest of February, look at what driving I've got to do, where am I going, what am I doing, and then anything that is surplus to requirements will be put into a month over. Because I need to get as far ahead on March before March arrives so that I know what I'm doing. So the savings challenges for the month over, which was these guys, they're all going to start from the surplus that I have. The month over is going to go towards March. Any additional, and I've got Vinted sales that are pending to clear. which is why I'm not yet discussing how much that is, because that's increasing and changing all the time. That's all going to stay in my Vinted account now until the end of the month, and then I will draw that on the same day that I get paid from wage one. I will be looking for work. I can pick up extra shifts at wage one. That's going to be discussed when I am next in with my manager. So I've booked in to see her at some point, so I can pick up extra shifts from wage one. It's just about, what do I have? What time do I have? And where am I at budget-wise? So for now, all of this is what I'm going to save for this financial quarter is off. It's paused. The main focus is getting money set aside in the month ahead envelope for March. The big debt payoff amounts to my guarantor are paused for March. Overall spending for myself for February is done. And I need to do a stock take, I would say, in terms of what meals I have, what can I batch cook, what has the cat got, because he hasn't had his 4-month allocation spent yet for February. What bills have I got left to pay for February? Where am I at with that? There'll be another video coming out for that, and I'll break down even further what I've got to, what support I'm applying for if I'm eligible, where have I got to with conversations regarding X, Y, and Z. And we're just going to go from there. And I'm okay. I am okay. I'm low. That's fine. If I wasn't feeling low right now, I'd be very concerned and going, I think a few friends will be poking me going, "You all right, hun?" Because that's a shock. It is ultimately, as strange as this sounds, a good thing. Whilst I enjoyed the role that I was doing and I enjoyed the opportunity that company gave me, the amount of red flags I was encountering from January onwards was making it more and more difficult to be excited about the work, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to be very careful about what I say. And I am relieved to be out of that situation. And when everyone was toasting champagne because we'd been bought out and how wonderful that was, I had a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, and it was first one through the door, last one through the door, first one out. And 3 days later, that was the case. So Savings Challenge Sundays are still going to stick around. The weekly, this is what I spent the week previous, is going to stick around. And then there's going to be an additional video midweek. So I'm filming this currently on Saturday today. It's going to be released later this evening as an extra video. Just so I can get ahead on where I want to be. There will then be a midweek video where I discuss what I'm doing about this. What stages have I gone through? Who have I spoken to? What steps am I taking? Has the emergency budget changed? What do I know in terms of guaranteed income, and what am I looking at? The thing is, beyond I need to go out and get a job, I don't actually know right now what job that is, or how I'm going to go about it. Whilst I logically and sensibly know that I need to do that, right now my whole gut and my whole head is going, just pause for a second, because that was horrible, and I don't want to run into another situation where I'm too blinkered by I need a job, I need a job, I need a job. So this is where we are. Surprise! Have a surprise video. Let me know down in the comments if you've come across this situation before and what you've done. If you do have any advice or anything like that, please do leave it down there. If I choose not to take your advice, please don't take it personally. As with all things, there are things that I am choosing to keep private and not disclose, and it may mean that actually I can't take your advice, depending on the circumstances. If you feel that I am not budgeting in the way that you would like me to in this situation, please respect that personal finance is personal, and whilst the way you may have handled a situation suited you, there's no saying that it would actually suit me. So please just bear that in mind before you comment. I will be back very, very soon. In fact, I'll be back tomorrow with the Savings Challenge Sunday, with the Savings Challenge Sunday video, because I am now about to go and film that and drink my Velvetizer before it goes cold. But yeah, thank you so much for liking, commenting and subscribing. More than ever, I am still on the challenge and the hunt and the track to get to 1k subscribers by the 25th of March. So if you could help me get there, I would absolutely love it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.